What is your passion? Stephen discovered Toastmasters in 1997 when the Harris Speak Easy Club was chartering in his office. 20 years later, after a few moves and many job changes, Stephen remains an active and avid member in multiple clubs. What have you spent years, even decades, actively pursuing in your life? Stephen's exploration into the mind began in childhood when he began reading about hypnosis. He started experimenting in high school, experienced fascinating success in college, and then sought out professional training through the Omni Hypnosis Training Center. Curiosity led to neurolinguistic programming and certification as an instructor in both the National Guild of Hypnotists and the National Federation of Neurolinguistic Psychology. Today, 30 years after those first experiments, Stephen remains passionate, curious, and excited to learn, teach, and explore the mind. How are you like Stephen? What part of him do you find within yourself? That is, the me in you. Here to mesmerize us with even more, please welcome Advanced Toastmaster Gold, Stephen Morgan.
Have you ever Okay, so much for that grand opening. Well, Madam Toastmaster, fellow... Oh, wait. There it is! Who here felt a little uncomfortable? A little bit? Uh-huh.
I knew it.
Who felt the relief?
Yeah.
That is the me in you. Fellow Toastmasters, welcome guests.
See?
I've been upstage. When it comes to connecting to your audience, what you are trying to find is a way to have them also connect to you, to find a way that you are similar, and to feel the same things that you want them to feel. Let me give a little bit of a different example, though. Have you ever known someone, you met them, and like instantly just had a connection? You knew exactly what they might want to say, how they happen to have the same beliefs, and you just happen to, right off the bat, kick it off. And I've already seen many heads already nodding. Alternatively, has there been someone in your life, been there for years, and for the likes of you, you just can't seem to get anything through to them?
Yep.
Or them to you? How do those things happen? How is it you can instantly connect and then, and alternatively, never connect? If you looked at it a little bit more closely and analyzed, you'd probably see the things that are same, the things that are different between these two types of people. And what you're finding is about yourself. Those people you instantly connect with, as it turns out, likely communicate the same way you do, think the same way you do. And as a result, their body mannerisms, their word choices, the way they react to everything around them is the same way you do. And at a lower level, subconscious level, you recognize that. And there's your instant connection. However, those people you never connect with is because they don't think the same way as you do. They don't react the same way you do. Therefore, you're always clashing. You never feel comfortable because they are not the same. And that's what you're looking for. We're always looking for sameness. People who are like us. Those are the ones we find ourselves attracted to. One-on-one, this is real easy to do. If you want to make a connection to somebody, Even if it's difficult, you can, if you're willing to step out of your own head and match them instead. That may mean changing your actual body movements, changing the way you talk, the words you choose, the pace that you speak. You can make that connection if you put it together. It's a lot harder, but you can do it. This gets a little bit different when you're up on stage, though. You have an audience of people, some of which will be like you, and many who will not. So how do you make that connection to an entire audience? You're looking for that me in each of them. You can't figure out each of their individual mannerisms. You can't tell exactly what any of them are going to think. And even if you got one of them, this one's going to be different. Therefore, you have to go for a different kind of sameness, a different thing that you have in common. What do we all have in common?
Toastmasters.
In this room, Toastmasters. But we've all experienced joy. We've all experienced sadness. We've all experienced curiosity. We've all experienced surprise. We've all experienced anger, jealousy, despair, relief, epiphanies. We've all experienced them. That's where you want to make the connection. They're emotions. We all have emotions. You can break them down in any way you wish, but when you're creating the speech you want to make, you want to figure out where in your speech you want them to feel a particular emotion. Then you have to craft around how you're going to get them to feel that emotion. That takes a lot more effort than it seems sometimes. But it can be fairly easy. You can simply tell a story. That's what stories do. They actually evoke emotions out of us. They get us curious, or they get us excited, or they get us upset. You can craft the right story. You can choose one. This is where a personal story is effective from your own life. They may not have experienced exactly what you went through, but they've experienced the emotions you felt. If you can go into that story that you experienced and then tell it that way, therefore your body language, your voice, starts evoking that same emotion from the moment that it happened for you. Whether you were excited, you'll start getting excited here. To be sad, you will have to get sad. To be in despair, you're going to have to step into that emotion on stage. And that is tough. It is really hard. But having done it, having seen it, I'm sure a few of you have, is that not one of the most powerful speeches you will ever see? Someone willing to put themselves up there in a situation you would be absolutely terrified because you felt it. They made that connection. Therefore, a piece of me I found in you. And that's what I'm pulling out to make that connection. The best of speeches is going to be one where you want them to feel something, and then take them to a different emotion, and then another one. And to the final one, where however you wish, and you're taking them on a ride. The roller coaster. That is the kind of speech that will really get people moving. It can be very healing for you. It can be very fun for you. But above all, it allows you to connect with everybody because we've all felt those things. Find the me in you, the you